transmission to bring you the following live broadcast.
It's Wednesday. It's 6 p.m. It's the ThinkSoJoE Show! It's just me. Ignore Karina's name on the thing. She's not feeling well today. So it's just me for right now. We do have Scott Leffler is going to call in momentarily. I think he kind of overslept, and by the time I realized he messaged me back, he was like, oh, hey, yeah, I need to turn off this vinyl real quick, and then I'll get back to you. So he's looking me up on Skype right now, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, here I am. ThinkSoJoE Show. And I'm going to wait for, some more people to kind of get online, and I have something really cool to show everybody that I just got today. And there's only 4 of them in the entire world, so that's going to be fun. I also just, prior to coming on the air, spent $120 on vinyl. But it's not just not a single vinyl, or apparently Scott's having trouble finding me. It's not just a single vinyl, though. It is an entire box set. Scott's having some trouble. We're going to get this figured out. But anyway, an entire box set. Metallica just announced this morning the S&M 2 release date is going to be August 28th with reworked video and all kinds of stuff. Scott didn't know I had a new account. I don't actually have a new account. It's all right, whatever. All right. Come on, man. Let's just give me your email address and we got this. Didn't know. Okay. He's having trouble finding me, apparently, which is weird because I found myself in like 5 seconds messaging myself from a different account earlier. It's going to take him a minute, so we'll have Scott on in a minute. But anyway, in the meantime, I bought this. There's Laura. You were wrong, Jasmine. Anyway, it's not just me. Scott Leffler will be along momentarily. He's working on it. We'll get him there. S&M 2 Deluxe box set I just bought today, and it's got 4 vinyl, 2 CDs, a single Blu-ray, book of pictures from the show, a poster from the show, some sheet music and stuff, and the digital download. So $120 isn't bad for all that stuff, I don't think. It's going to be fun, Laura. It'll be fun when Scott gets here, because, yeah, me by myself is not a fun show. We've established that in the past. But yeah, I got 20% off anyway, so that's pretty cool. We're still waiting for Scott to figure out how to use his Skype. Oh, she's right. Solo Joe shows are always painful. Always. They're terrible. But so that's why I have a co-host. He's just trying to figure out his technology to get a hold of me and get on the show here. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to, is buying vinyl and trying to help Scott. Yeah, well, there's an order. So I asked Brian, because Brian used to co-host, and Brian is the obvious choice. He lives around the corner. He was unavailable. And then I asked Kevin. He was my second ask. And then I asked Scott. Scott was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Let me, can you do it? I said, okay, cool. Well, we can do it through video now. So can you come over, or do you want to do it through Zoom? And he said, can we do it through Skype? And now he can't figure out Skype. So it's going to take him a minute, apparently. We're still waiting. We'll get him. Let me make sure you're going to be able to hear him when he calls. You should be. Yeah, Muller is Laura's co-host, but he fills in occasionally here actually, I don't know if he's even been back since he hosted the show before. So, but he does live around the corner, so he is always the first ask, like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, Jazzy would have been on time. But, yeah, Skype is apparently still a thing. I haven't used Skype since the Board Wrestling Fan days. But it was kind of, I gave him the option. He said, well, if I try Zoom, it's going to be a mess. And I'm like, all right, sure, whatever, let's do Skype. So now we're just waiting for him to call back. I don't know why I have oh, hey, what's that? There's noise. There was noise. I don't know what that noise was. Chats. Scott Leffler, wants to connect, accept. Okay. Now, hopefully he knows to video call. I'm going to press the button. No, not video message. Where's video call? There's video call. I don't know. It's been so long since I used Skype. Laura would have been on time too, she says. Hey, there we go. We got, so we hit this button here. And there's Scott Leffler.
There we go. Hey, how are you?
Okay, I'm good. Let me get you in full here and get you on the stream. And there's Scott Leffler, ladies and gentlemen. He's waking up as we speak.
Yeah, but between the really, really, really weird dream that I had and then having to add you in on Skype at the very last minute, I'm glad that I was able to make it onto the show.
Yeah, I'm sitting here.
Because the Skype that I have for you is different than the one that we're using.
Yeah, I apparently have 3 now. I don't know what the other one is.
Yeah.
I know there's the Board Wrestling Fan and this one, and I don't know what but this was just like the default when I signed into Skype. I think this is the first time I'm using Skype on this computer.
Cool.
But yeah.
So what did I miss?
Well, I bought a $120 Metallica box set. So
Really?
Yeah, it's the S&M 2 box set. It's got 4 LPs, 2 CDs, a Blu-ray, 28-page book of pictures, some sheet music, a poster, digital download. So you figure $120 for all that ain't bad. Especially the LPs by themselves are 60, so or 70, I think.
Right.
So
You could have just used LimeWire and got it all for free.
that is true.
I saw a thing the other day. It was like, I am LimeWire years old. It's like, yeah, all right, I get that.
Yeah. I think LimeWire is more my generation, but Laura wants to know what that is behind you.
Where?
Right behind you, I think, with it looks like patches or something behind you.
The sign? Oh, there's patches. There's patches.
Okay, he's got patches on a whiteboard.
So there's a
calendar and a whiteboard, or corkboard rather.
There's a museum patch, a shark patch, a Nikola Tesla patch, and a Night Vale patch.
There you go. There's your answer, Laura.
There you go.
She's saying she can't hear you, but I never believe a word she says. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit dismayed with our British friend at the moment, so we'll just ignore her and hope that she goes away.
Yeah, she usually goes away by the 3rd song, so we'll see if that happens again today.
So I only got to put up with her for 3/4 of the show. Cool.
Yeah, an hour and a half here. So
Right.
I did get in the mail today. I got something really cool, and I haven't shown it yet. So this is I just got a vinyl.
Sweet.
This is the Living Brain Dead Falls Count Anywhere. There are only 4 of these in existence. They're all here in the room with me. For
in the room where it happened.
And not the room where it happened, but no. But they will be going to their destinations when I'm able to get them to them. But
Very
we got them for all four band members. We've, Brian and I collect vinyl, and so it was kind of a no-brainer when we found out that we could get them for like $30 each. And it's like, okay, well, we wouldn't charge anybody this much for them, but we'd pay that much for them.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
yeah.
But sound quality didn't come out all that great, so I actually bought a frame, and I'm going to have it on the wall behind me soon. So,
really? That's
yeah.
kind of a shame.
Yeah, I sent the same. I'm pretty sure I sent the same files that I sent when we did the CDs, and the CDs are fine. So I don't know what happened. Might have been a bad upload or something. I don't know, but yeah, I did. Jasmine's right. I did show that on Facebook, but I didn't actually give any kind of explanation behind it. I just made it my cover photo. I did put it on Instagram with an explanation because that's all I do on Instagram anymore is post vinyl.
Yeah. Lately, all I seem to do on Instagram is update all Western New York's weather.
I see those posts every day.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, my Instagram is pretty quiet. I was actually going to post a couple things to Instagram yesterday and then decided not to because I realized that posting them would reveal where I live, and I didn't want to do that on Instagram.
So you've actually been out of the studio since the pandemic started, yes?
Yeah. So I've actually been going home lately, which is nice because for a while I had not. I actually spent close to 8 weeks literally at work, didn't leave. The only human contact I had was 2 times the UPS guy knocked on my door. And other than that, no, I stayed completely here. But no, lately I've been going home, which is nice.
That's good. That's good. I know when I was talking to you early on this, and you're like, I haven't left for food. I haven't done anything. So
Yeah, I had not done any of those things. And, I think that maybe I took it too seriously, or maybe other people aren't taking it seriously enough. I don't know. But I know that and just like you, can't afford to get sick.
right.
My voice is my livelihood. So, and if I get sick and can't work for a couple weeks, that's pretty much it. I'm done. So my clients aren't going to be like, oh, well, we'll get through these 2 weeks and, we'll come back to you. They would find somebody else, because
Oh,
that's what I would do.
yeah,
Oh,
sure.
you can't do what I need for the next 2 weeks. I guess I'll have to find somebody else who can, so yeah. So I need to make sure not to get sick.
Yeah, same here. So, yeah, I didn't leave the house for weeks before, like, other than like if Karina needed a prescription filled or something, it would just be like, okay, I really don't want to go, but I'll go,
And then, so some people wondered, why not just quarantine at home? And in short, reasons. First and foremost being it's easier for me to work here. So quarantine at work.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing for me is, my home is right outside the door here. So
Right.
so I'm spending most of my time in this room anyway. So of course my work hours are like, I work from like 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m. now, but that's another story entirely.
So the weirdest thing, yesterday I went to bed at like midnight and I woke up at like 6 a.m., which is why I needed a nap,
Right.
because it's just really weird for me. But yeah, I normally don't keep those hours, but work just worked out really weird yesterday that I was able to get home and like in bed by midnight. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. to like continue my day.
I usually get my last script that I do. It's a nightly script. I usually get it about 2 a.m. So that's it's kind of where my office hours came from. So it's like, okay, well, one, it's cooler. Two, it's quieter.
Right.
And, I'm used to working overnights anyway, because I did that for way too long.
I got one client that I hear from usually between 11 and midnight, 4 days a week. And so I've worked with this client for a couple years now, and I've yet to figure out if it's the same 4 days every week or not. I think it might be. And if it is, I should probably make a note of what 4 days they are so that I can like figure out my life from that. Because I just usually stay at work until after midnight, at least, to make sure that I get these scripts. But it could only be on 4 certain days, and I could actually be going home earlier than I thought I could.
Yeah, see, that's my problem. Is I get a script every night at 2 a.m. So I'm like, okay, gotta wait for this one.
Right.
No matter if I'm done or not, I got this one more I gotta do. So, yeah, I know how that goes. But yeah, I worked overnight for a number of years, so I'm so used to that schedule. I never got used to being awake during the day.
Right.
So the only time I'm awake during the day is, I'll wake up at like anywhere between 1 and 4 p.m. unless I'm waiting for FedEx.
Right.
If I'm waiting for FedEx, I am up so I can wait for them, because I don't trust them to leave expensive packages.
To make sure that you hit the window that's between, was it like 9:13 and 10:42 a.m.?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I think the one yesterday was 8:50 to 10:35, and they got there at like 10:31.
Yeah, that's really, really weird.
I'm like, okay, cool. I got my new guitar amp. Now I'm going to bed instead of playing with it.
So yeah, because of my weird sleep schedule and the fact that I ended up taking a nap, I had set an alarm for 5:15 and woke up at 5:45. And you ever wake up from a dream and you're like really, really, you're like, oh my God, thank God that was a dream.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened. Somehow or another, I was back in school, and it had something to do with my professor's daughter. I don't know. It wasn't real. It was a dream, and that's really the important thing.
That's the best part, is like, okay, that didn't really happen. Till you get
Yeah.
into that Nightmare on Elm Street kind of stuff. You wake up and you
Well,
got slashes across your chest.
No, I don't have. So most of my dreams that I have, and especially my Corona dreams, or quarantine dreams, whatever you want to call them, they're like super realistic and very believable. Um, and so a lot of times I wake up and I'm like, oh, that wasn't real. Oh, okay, that's like, and usually I'm indifferent about whether it was real or not. Sometimes I'm disappointed it wasn't real. Like, oh, damn. And then this time I was like, oh, thank God. So yeah,
Laura wants to know if you have a bed in your office.
I do not. I do have a very comfy couch, but no, beds at home.
I figured the couch was where you were sleeping. That is a comfortable couch in that office there.
It is an incredibly comfortable couch. And it works, most of the time. When I was staying here longer, I would have to sleep on the floor every once in a while just to like straighten my back out.
Understandable.
But for the most part, the couch is quite comfy. I have my couch, my blanket, and my bear, and everything's good.
I used to sleep like I lived with my buddy. We had a 1-bedroom apartment, so he had the bedroom because it was his place. I just moved in with him, and
Right.
he didn't have an actual couch. He had a cot in his living room, and it's like, okay, I guess that's
Like an army cot.
like one of the rollaway beds from the hotel, like one of those
Oh,
like
okay.
one of those deals.
You say cot, and I'm thinking like army green,
No,
like
no, no.
cot, like
No, I get where you would get that, but no, like the ones in the hotel. And I think we went through like 2 of those while I lived there, but they were not as comfortable as an actual couch would have been. So
yeah, I can understand that. I dated a girl for a while who had a futon that she would frequently fall asleep on, and I think I fell asleep on it once or twice, and for the life of me, could not figure out why she fell asleep on it so frequently because it was like sleeping on rocks, like on a pile of rocks that were like slanted. It was not comfortable at all.
I could imagine. Yeah, no, I slept on that cot for a few months. I think we went through it. It like started to bend, and then we had to get another one. So
Right.
and I don't know why he didn't just get a couch instead of a cot, but he got a second one. I think eventually we had a couch, which was way more comfortable. And then eventually his girlfriend was something got knocked over here. Anyway, his girlfriend moved in, and I moved out, and I got a house, and then we had like 6 couches. I had a bed when I had my house,
Right.
but also had like 6 couches. We called it the House of 1,000 Couches.
See, so I have a couch here and a bed at home, but I don't have a bed here and I don't have a couch at home.
Interesting.
But otherwise, everything I have here and home is like I've got actually the same exact TV at here and home. They're both 55-inch TCL TVs. Obviously, I've got some recording equipment here that I don't have at home, but other than that, like office and home are pretty much identical.
Office and home are the same for me, so
Right.
all my equipment is in one place. I'd like to get an office, but I don't know if I want to spend that money. I know you're not spending much, but I don't know if I want to spend that money.
If I had to pay like real rent here, I'm not sure I'd be able to do it, but like it's dirt cheap and I would be stupid not to do it. Just because I don't have to deal like, especially with working at night and not having anybody here, like it's totally worth the money. And then like what I pay in rent is worth the sound treatment alone here.
That's right. You have one that already came with sound treatment.
Right.
That's nice. I just have a closet that's sound treated and works wonders for keeping a lot of the outside noise out. Luckily,
Like that TikTok I sent you the other day.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
the girl Yeah, I can't even imagine having to do that. I would probably die. I think I would have gotten out of voiceover work forever ago.
Yeah, my neighbor, if I got to work during the day, my neighbors, like every time I have to work during the day, as soon as I step into the studio, my neighbor's blaring his jukebox. Like,
Right.
he's not playing it before I step into the studio, but as soon as I open the door and come in here, like, all right, I'm going to get some work done, just Johnny Cash starts playing out of nowhere.
You might want to check to see if there's an errant like video camera in your office in your studio area to see if like oh look, Joe's in.
I'm going to have to check that because as far as I know, these 2 are the only ones that I have in here that are active, and the lens cap is always on when I'm not doing the podcast.
Right.
Laura says, I have an office. Yes, I have this office. This is my office. I have that much table space.
At the moment, that's actually more table space than I have. I have this habit, and I think it's probably common with most people, actually. I add table space, and then somehow or another, that table space just gets filled with stuff. And like I think to myself, like, oh, this will be like a good space for me to work. And then like a day and a half later, it's just there's like I actually got like a fold out table to put in the middle of the room so that I would have a work area. And now there's just a bunch of t-shirts sitting on it.
I think we were talking about the arcade 1-up when I got it, and you were asking, you were looking for Dig Dug.
Right.
And I found you one that's got Dig Dug, but it's a sit down, like one of the cocktail table arcade machines. And you said,
right,
this would be, this would just be covered in stuff.
Paper.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of space over here. I mean, the only thing on there right now is the vinyl in my space. And then over here, I've got a little bit of space in front of me, but, Karina's always got all her paperwork with all the events and, new releases and everything on them. And, that's where I throw my mail. So it's not really workspace.
Speaking of Karina, where is she tonight? Why did you need my help?
She's not feeling well. She wasn't up for like getting ready to do the show and actually doing the show. And
fair enough. I thought she might be off doing something fun with her lovely sister.
No, unfortunately, she's just not feeling well. She was like about to jump on before you finally messaged me, like, like, oh hey, look, Scott's up. Like, oh, good, you can go back to bed now.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. We're just glad you made it. Jasmine was kind of making funny in the comments, saying that she would have been on time if I asked her.
Well, the fun thing is that like I would have been on time if I had the right Skype.
True.
But yeah, when I went to Skype you, I was like, oh, that's not the right Skype, and then so I'm actually Skyping you through an Echo Show from Alexa.
Amazon.
I had to wait until the little bar went away, so do whatever
okay.
it was I said.
Yes, I got you.
So I went to Skype you, but the address that you gave me isn't the address that I have in my contacts, so I had to add that to my contacts, which I had to do for my PC because I couldn't figure out how to do it for my phone. And then I'm like, and meanwhile, I don't even have any coffee. My coffee's over there, so I can't wait till we get to this first sound so I can go get my coffee and have another bite of the chicken that I was eating because I got some KFC for lunch.
Yeah, I just had pizza rolls today. Actually, now that you mention it, I haven't eaten much.
Yeah, I took my mom shopping today. She needed a new laptop, so we went to Best Buy and then got some KFC. And it's like one of the reasons I actually got up at like 6 a.m. was because mom wanted to go shopping, and I'm like, oh, I got to keep like normal people hours today, so I guess I'll get up early so I can get some work done first. So, and then like eating lunch is really weird for me. Like lunch isn't even a meal. Like I have two meals. There's dinner and then there's everything else. Kind of like flowers. There's roses and everything else. So for me, there's dinner. That's a meal, and then and there's no breakfast, but I do like breakfast food, and there's no lunch, but I do like lunch food. Although lunch food and dinner food are the same. And I actually learned the other day that breakfast comes in two varieties. There's sweet and there's salty. And then lunch and dinner comes in either salty or savory. Very seldom do we have sweet lunches or dinners, and we never have savory breakfasts.
So where would you get a salty, what does a salty breakfast consist of? Because I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Eggs, bacon, sausage, they're all salty.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So eggs, bacon, sausage, or like pancakes, waffles, etc. So you've either got your baked goods, which is sweet, obviously, or you've got salty.
Makes sense.
But we don't have burgers for breakfast, and I think we should.
Jasmine says no, it's first breakfast and second breakfast. She also said you can go grab your coffee. They'll wait.
Oh no, we're good. I've got it together. I think I can stay awake for another 5 minutes.
And Laura said that KFC should be banned.
Okay.
I I don't care for KFC, so that's neither here
I
nor
don't
there for me.
I don't have it very often, but it's something that my mother likes, and I like for my mom to be happy.
Yeah.
So we got KFC.
I think we all like for our moms to be happy.
Yeah. If I could just buy the breading, like if they made just like strips of like pre-cooked just the breading so you could just crunch on it like you would eat like a Slim Jim, I would totally snap into a KFC.
Actually been texting my mom. I get all these vinyl, I've been buying a lot of vinyl, and I just, I'll put on something and be like, hey, my mom would like this. And I'll take a picture and I'll text it to her. Like, hey, Ma, look what I'm listening to. And she's, oh, I love the Stray Cats.
That's awesome. My mother and I have no music in common. In fact, on the way to Best Buy, I'm listening to the Beatles. My mom hates the Beatles. Well, my mom was an Elvis fan, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I guess you can't really be an Elvis fan and a Beatles fan. You have to be one or the other. And so she was an Elvis fan, so she like legit hates the Beatles. So she gets in the car and the Beatles is playing, and I'm waiting for her to like try and change the radio station and like figure out in my mind, like, is it worth fighting over or not? And fortunately, she just didn't say anything. So we listened to the Beatles all the way.
I'm pretty sure my mom likes both, and I've got albums from both. I don't.
So all right,
the Elvis ones.
Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
She was like a really, really big Elvis fan.
Okay.
Like she was one of the girls that like fainted because like Elvis ate yogurt or whatever. And the Beatles sort of supplanted Elvis.
Okay.
And so she hates the Beatles because they basically killed Elvis.
Gotcha.
So
I have some Elvis vinyl. It just appeared in my collection. I think they were thrift store finds. But all my Beatles records that I had, well, that's not true. Not all of them, but most of my Beatles records were by choice. I have a copy of Meet the Beatles, but it's in the sleeve for the Beatles like 68 or something like that. So
Elvis actually did a couple really good Christmas albums. I remember listening to Elvis Christmas music growing up.
Hey, Jasmine, did you hear that? Elvis does really good Christmas music. This is a running gag with Jasmine and I. She's always posting about Halloween, so I always respond with Christmas stuff. And she was coming over a few weeks ago, and I said, I took a picture of this Elvis Christmas album that I have, and I said, this is what we're listening to when you're here. And she said, no, the hell it's not. So
I have an appreciation for Halloween, but it's not the same as Christmas. I love me some Christmas.
We do put on a Halloween show every year. I actually have Halloween booked, but I haven't booked anything. So,
so
we also do a Christmas show every year.
I don't know that that's going to happen. I'm still worried about whether or not your birthday show is going to happen.
I mean, I think it's really going to depend on Stamps and if they feel comfortable reopening, and that's I think if they're comfortable with having patrons and also, enforcing the social distancing guidelines and mask guidelines that are in place. I think I'm okay with running a show.
My concern is that, we're going to become overwhelmed with idiots from other states who have decided, that the whole thing's a hoax and we're going to end up with our own second wave.
Well, I mean, New York State is, stopping people from states that have had high numbers of cases from coming in, and
no, so they're not stopping them.
Well,
from coming in,
they're making them.
But you're required to quarantine when you get here. But like, it's still an honor system thing. Like they don't, you're not put in jail. They just tell you have to quarantine. So if you don't, you don't. So and I don't trust people that are willing to travel during quarantine, probably will just ignore the quarantine order.
I got you. That makes sense.
So I don't know what good it does, but whatever.
Well, I mean, we'll just keep track of the numbers. And again, I'm gonna go with whatever Stamps wants to do because I trust their judgment because they don't want to get, Chuck and Jen don't want to get sick either. So.
Right. Of course. Well, I remember going back to, the April show we were going to do, in March, I'm like, hey, something about doing a show next month. And you're like, oh, yeah, we're doing a show. And I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, and then like a couple days later, you're like, I just figured out why you asked that. So, yeah, everything's got to be by ear, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to kind of just see what's going on. We got shows that are, upcoming in the next couple of weeks. We've had shows, Sportsman's been running shows, and they've been
Have you
enforcing
been to any?
I haven't been to any. I know Mohawk is opening up this week,
Right.
but I haven't been to any. I've been to like record stores and stuff like that since they've reopened, but I haven't been to any. I haven't seen any live music since the quarantine. Since I think the last live show I went to was the Head PE show I played back in March. So. But speaking of music, it is time for some music, so Scott can go get his coffee, and we can listen to some music. You got about 6 minutes on this song, I think. This is
Oh, cool.
This is Rick Horton's choice for the week. This is a new single from a band called A Fitting Revenge, and this song is called The King Machine on all WNY Think So Joe Show. I don't have microphone. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you just fine, bud.
Oh, there we go. I accidentally hit the solo button on number 2. Okay, there we go. That was a fitting revenge, the King Machine on all WNY Think So Joe show. I got too many buttons in front of me, man. That's
Definitely.
Yeah, this nice fancy mixer here that's got all these brightly colored buttons. And then the stuff to control the video, so hitting like 3 things at once, trying to unmute you, unmute me, switch to the...
So how's the whole video thing going? By the way, I don't know if you noticed, I had to reframe my frame because it bothered that. I'm real big on symmetry, and it bugged me that the curtains were not, and I realized they're not perfect yet, but they're better.
I actually left the room to go get another Pepsi, so I wasn't... and then like I got back here and I looked at my phone and finally this record that I ordered over the weekend shipped. So I'm like, yes, yeah. Been buying way too much vinyl, if that's even if that's even a thing. But
you're rich and famous, man. Flaunt it.
Yeah. I just got it right before we went on the air. I got a CCR record. I'm sitting here the other day and I'm just like, doing nothing. And all of a sudden, the song Looking Out My Back Door got stuck in my head for some reason. So I'm like, I don't own any CCR. So I had to go buy it.
Definitely something you would have to fix.
So I went and I pulled up like 6 of their actual albums. And I'm just like, okay, I could probably get these for a reasonable price for like, these 6 that all have songs I know on them. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just get the greatest hits instead. So that's what I ended up doing, was going on Amazon and just ordering a greatest hits from them, and figure I'll get the albums as I go. Like I'll, keep checking the used bins at Revolver or something. But
yeah, so I've actually gotten so accustomed to buying things on Amazon that I just have my clients send their money directly to Amazon. And I just use it as a credit.
Oh, I don't shop on Amazon that much. I do shop there quite a bit, but not that much.
I have during quarantine because, I had to.
Right. Well, I mean, you're not leaving the house. I've been buying from Amazon and Musician's Friend and Home Depot, Lowe's, Staples.
I think it's crazy that you've gotten, that from Home Depot. It still blows my mind. Yeah, and then the other place that I've spent all my money is alldayshirts.com. We spent some money at Jiffy Shirts and Heat Transfer Warehouse or wherever it is I buy my vinyl from, and my heat transfer vinyl. I've spent a lot of money through sellers on Discogs, Zounds, the guitar store. They've gotten a lot of my money over the quarantine, so right.
And then since it reopened, I think Revolver Records has gotten about $400 out of me. So.
It's funny you say Zounds, and I'm aware of Zounds online, which is where I've got my keyboard there. I got a couple microphones there. I've got some other things there. But when you say Zounds out loud, it immediately makes me think of that place in the Falls.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Which I don't think is a thing ananymore, but it still exists in my head.
Yeah, I know, but I know exactly where you're talking about, that building over on Hyde Park, right?
I thought it was on Highland.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was on Hyde Park, that really colorful building, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on Hyde Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about. What trips me out is Zounds is spelled ZZOUNDS, and I always thought it was Z-Zounds until I had to call them one day, and they're, thank you for calling Zounds. Like,
right.
Wait, calling who? What? Zounds? That's how you pronounce that? And
right.
I've called them several times since then because I've, the first time I called was I had a credit, and so I was trying to use my credit, and then every time else that I've called them, it was all because, hey, I want to put this on a payment plan, but I want to put like $200 down on it, so that's, I actually just called them on Friday because I'm like, hey, I already have an order, but it's back ordered. I want to add to it and put a bigger deposit down. And, their customer service is great there. And, so I just got a new guitar amp. I got a new guitar coming eventually.
Every time I've dealt with them has been incredible.
Yeah. They're a great company, and, they don't really, decline you for payment plans either, which is great. So
cool.
And
how many guitars do you own?
Let me see. So I think this is going to be number 8. Let's see. I got the 3-stage guitars, 2 electrics, 2 acoustics. So that's 7. So not counting basses, this will be number 8.
Huh.
So
that's 8 more than me. So.
Well, now that I'm in a band, it's like, okay, well, I got to start buying guitars now and other gear. And so, Guitar Crate is another one that's gotten money from me because I have a subscription to them, $40 a month for 2 packs of strings and whatever else they feel like throwing in there. And
right.
So, I've got all this.
You find it's always worth it?
Most of the time. This month I wasn't that impressed, but I think it was like, okay, here's stuff you guys have already sent me.
Right.
I think I'm starting to wonder if maybe they're out of ideas of things to add in that might be new. But, the good thing is you get the 2 packs of strings every month. So you remember, you supposedly remember to change your strings. I mean, my guitars haven't been out of their case since March. So, until yesterday, of course, I got the amp. So I'm like, I got to plug in. Better plug in a good one,
Yeah, I've done 2 of the crate. I used to do Loot Crate, and I liked Loot Crate a lot. That was cool. But yeah, I kind of felt like it got repetitive and boring, so I ended up deleting that. And then I used to do one, and I don't remember the name of it, but every month you would get like a tie and a pair of socks, and then some other stuff.
Oh, that sounds like it's well worth it.
Yeah. And that one was, I want to say it was like $20-25 a month. Like it was worth it just for the tie.
Yeah.
But again, like eventually got to the point where like, all right, I have 13 ties. I'm good.
I've previously subscribed to Loot Crate for maybe a month or 2. I did subscribe to Pro Wrestling Crate or whatever, one of those wrestling crate deals. I subscribed to that for a while, and then I was trying to cut down expenses, and I'm like, okay, got to get rid of this. And now I'm subscribed to the Guitar Crate, and we just signed Karina up for the Ska Box, which is just a bunch of ska merchandise and memorabilia every month. So
it sounds like it was made for her.
Oh, she saw it and she's like, I want this, and I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. Yeah. We'll buy it.
Yeah, how do you tell ska girls she can't get the Ska Box?
She's been seeing a lot of stuff like through Facebook ads for ska stuff. So she got some pins a couple of weeks ago that I ordered for her. One was a little skeleton with a trombone, or a trumpet, or I think it was trumpet. And okay, that makes sense. Let's get that. And then she saw this Instagram account, Ska Punk Daily, had a deal with Jump Up Records where you pay $50, you get 5 records and like a slip mat, a beer koozie, and a pin. So it's like, nice. Okay, well that's a no-brainer. Let's do that. $50 for 5 vinyl.
Right. So I don't trust Facebook ads anymore. I've bought a couple things on Facebook ads, and I've been burned twice, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
It's hit or miss. I've had, you got to kind of look into what you're getting, I guess. I've definitely had misfires on Facebook ads where I bought, a projector. Let me buy this. And it was just like the shittiest projector, but it was 60.
Oh, no. I've had things like nothing showed up twice.
Oh, wow. No, I haven't had that. I've always had something show up.
And I feel like I can only ask PayPal to give me my money back so many times.
Sure. I haven't had anything like that. I've had pretty good success rate buying things through Facebook ads. Actually, I got the Omni shaver a few months ago, and I love that thing. And they're very interactive with their clientele on there too. Like I posted a video of me shaving my head with the thing, and now I still to this day I'm getting likes of, just people like, oh man, hey, yeah, that thing looks cool, So, and then we, a lot of the stuff that she's gotten is Instagram ads, but this, $50, record deal for the 5 records, we ordered them. They were here in like 3 days.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, okay, we have a lot of ska to listen to now.
Cool.
It was a good deal too, because it was like, you get 2 classic ska records, and then the other 3 you have to choose from, like some of Jump Up Records current artists that are up and coming.
Okay.
So, but they give you a description of all the artists. So we're sitting there one night, just going through this webpage, like, okay, here's the fuss. They're blue Jamaican ska, whatever. I don't know what any of this stuff means, but she does.
Right.
And so she's like, oh yeah, get that one and get the other one.
It's
So
like
we
trying
got
to describe a wine.
Yeah. So we got all
Tastes
these,
like wine.
yeah. So we got all these, great ska albums, and we listened to most. There's one still that I haven't listened to, but
Cool.
I'm all for anything that's gonna pad my numbers on Discogs. I think I'm up to 136 vinyl on there now. But,
you mentioned getting likes on something that's old. A couple months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I don't know. Time blends. I posted something on Twitter. I don't know if you caught it. It got like 1,000 retweets and like 20,000 likes over the course of like 24 hours. And I was like, wow, I've never had this happen before. Which was really, really cool. But then it just like completely died. Meanwhile, I have a post on Twitter from like a year ago, and like once a day it gets a new like.
Huh.
It's really, really like every day it's like, oh, there's my like for the day on that one.
Yeah, I posted a thing a couple of weeks ago. It was about when Trump called it the what did he call it? The Kung Flu? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I posted a thing like, come on, even if you don't think that's racist, like this guy is not taking this seriously.
Nope.
This is a problem. And, of course, I had a few people share that, and a lot of people like that, and only had 2 people like try to start shit with me on it, and they were people I didn't know. One guy tried to inbox me. I'm like, nope, not reading your fucking message, dude. And then somebody else like actually commented on it, and she's like, well, you people who are afraid of this virus are the same people that send your kids to with the flu to school with my kids who are immunocompromised. And I'm just thinking, like, how in the fuck are your kids immunocompromised and you're not taking this virus seriously?
Right.
Like, you want your fucking kids to die.
not to mention the fact that I think she's probably wrong. I think that's not the same crowd at all.
No, I don't think so either. And I responded to this woman, and I basically said that, and I looked at Karina, I said, how's it feel to know that I love you more than this woman loves her kids? Because I'm, like, limiting my amount of time I'm actually going anywhere or doing anything because I don't want to get her sick.
Right.
But this woman, well, I'm glad we have a president who's seeing this for the hoax that it is. Like, yeah, okay, this is a hoax. That's why every other country in the fucking world shut down.
The thought process that like all of these countries around the world got together and decided to start killing their citizens to own Donald Trump just makes no sense to me. But whatever.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it.
There are times, Joe, when I really, really wish that I could understand like how these people thought. And then most of the time I'm glad I don't understand it at all.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and like, even if it is a hoax, like, even if it does turn out to be a hoax and we're all just paranoid and we're all losing our minds over nothing, is it going to kill you to wear a mask to, just in case, the
Right.
scientists that are telling you that this is a real thing are correct?
Right. Yeah, because on the scale there, we've got this is a hoax and I was mildly inconvenienced for a while, or this is real and everyone's dead because I'm an asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and
I'd rather
it's
wear a
the same
mask.
It's the same exact argument with like global warming. Like this is a hoax, but the planet's clean now, or this is real, or the planet is literally on fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seriously, like even if these things you don't believe that the scientists are accurate on are
Right.
fake, why are you taking this chance? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't understand it, and I beg anybody who disagrees with me to have a serious, rational discussion and give me a reason why I'm wrong.
Right. Well,
Serious, rational
usually
discussion. Those are the key words.
I don't know that it's possible.
Yeah.
As a rule, I tend to listen to doctors and scientists and nurses. Definitely listen to nurses. But there are times when I don't buy into what the government's trying to sell me, like the whole moon landing thing. Everybody knows that was fake.
Yeah. Speaking of faking the moon landing, they actually tested that on MythBusters, and Grant Imahara died this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's only 49 years old. He had a brain aneurysm and I guess just dropped dead. So
Yeah, I saw that trending on Twitter yesterday and was quite surprised. I actually saw something else on Twitter yesterday. Somebody referenced Lyndon LaRouche, who was a guy that ran for president a number of times. And when I was back on radio at WLVL, I had Lynn on as a guest probably half a dozen times or so. Anyways, somebody referenced him. So I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's up to. And I Googled him and I found out that he died last year. And I was like, oh. And then it was really weird because I was like, not depressed, but sad about this thing that existed, whether or not I knew it. And like, then I had to process the fact that like the knowledge is what made it sad, not the fact that it happened. It's like the tree falling in the woods and I wasn't there to hear it, but then I finally heard the echo a year later and then it finally fell. I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, I get that. I've
been doing cheap acid in my spare time, so forgive me if that didn't make any sense.
I had a teacher that was my favorite teacher in high school, and I found out years later he passed away from my old boss, who's just he was the manager before when I started working at the Super 8, before you started working there. He was, oh yeah, my neighbor across the street, he was a teacher and his name was DiStefano. I'm like, wait, Jude DiStefano? Yes, that was my favorite teacher. Like, you just ruined my day.
Speaking of the Super 8, they called me. Actually, two different people from the Super 8 called me the other day. Hey, can you help out? And I'm like, no, I cannot. I was like, if I felt more certain that people would wear masks and wash their hands, then yeah, I could help you out. But no, people are stupid, and as such, I'm not going to be there.
So John, our former coworker, he moved to Virginia.
I know he called me like the day before he moved.
Okay.
And which I thought was weird because like he could have called me just as easily the day after he moved, but he wanted to call me before he moved. And like if we were not in quarantine, I would have been like, let's get a beer.
Sure.
But I was like, okay, this knowledge does me no good. I can't help you out in any way, shape, or form, but good luck.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm happy for him.
But the last I heard, I haven't talked to him in maybe a week or two, but the last I heard was they had not called him to come back to work. Like, apparently they've reopened, but they haven't called him to come back to work. And I don't know if maybe our old, the old owner maybe told them he was coming down there or what happened, but for whatever reason, they never called him to come back to work.
Well, they just called me 2 days ago.
Okay.
So maybe they just decided that they need help. I drive by there on a somewhat regular basis. There's never anybody there. I didn't even realize that they were open until just a couple days ago. So maybe they hadn't been open. I don't know.
Yeah, as far as I know, they were open, but he was, he kept telling me every time I've talked to him that they hadn't called him. So maybe they called him the other day. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to him in about a week. So
we really haven't been flush with tourists in Niagara Falls. So maybe they just didn't really need the help yet.
Right. I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Couldn't afford the help.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd be flushed with tourists now either, especially like with the Canadian border closed and New York having the quarantine order and all that. So, who knows? Is that your phone?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm over here responding to texts, so that's
I did not expect that. My apologies.
That's all right. My ringer is never on, ever.
Well, the funny thing is, so my phone actually never makes sound unless someone from my address book calls.
Okay.
But like, I don't get sounds for notifications for like text message or emails. And if someone not in my address book calls, it doesn't ring at all. It literally goes straight to voicemail. But if somebody from my address book calls, then it rings.
Speaking of phones ringing, mine's ringing right now. Brian was trying to call me. He knows I'm on the air. I texted him earlier, like, hey, can you help out with the show?
Well, in all fairness, Brian's not that smart, so.
I'm sure he probably just wants to pick up his vinyl.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I know you're on air, but can I come get that record from you?
Yeah. Brian and I have been hanging out a lot more lately with everything starting to reopen, and especially once the record store opened. I was like, hey, Brian, you want to go to Revolver? Like, yep, I'll come get you tomorrow. Let's go.
Cool.
So we went the next day, and I spent, I think, like $230 on vinyl, and he probably spent more. And then this past weekend, I spent $100 on vinyl at Revolver. Right. Before I left, I said to Karina, I said, I'm only planning on getting this Rage Against the Machine record. And then I came home with 10 records. But I still spent $270 less than Brian did. So
nice.
Yeah. So I can't complain.
Yeah, I haven't been to many places. I've been to Tops, Walmart. And both of those places are actually like organized fairly well. Like they've got their stuff together. I went to Joann Fabrics. And I think that's it as far as like stores go. I've been to like a couple restaurants and gotten takeout, but I haven't been to too many. Oh, and then I went to Best Buy today and Office Max because we actually got a much better deal on a laptop at Office Max than was available at Best Buy. Because mom needed a new computer. Her laptop that she's been using is 8 years old.
Oh yeah, that's that's ancient.
Well, but like obviously my mother's from an older era, and 8 years old is not ancient to her. So she's like, I don't understand why it doesn't work anymore. I'm like, well, you're kind of asking it to do things that it wasn't built to do. Like you bought a washing machine that was designed only to wash like toddler clothes, and now you want it to wash carpets. So.
Yeah. I just built a new PC. I gave Karina my old one, and now I'm sitting here like I should buy a laptop.
I have a laptop at home. And it's funny, I never use it. I actually, this morning when I woke up, I was like, I could just do what I need to do from here. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to go to work. So rather than open my laptop, I drove 20 minutes because I didn't want to deal with there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's not nearly as good as my PC is.
Right, exactly. That's why I don't use mine. I'm trying to get a better one so we can like go to band practice and do live streams and stuff like that whenever we start practicing again. Right. But, hopefully soon. But speaking of my band, Brian is apparently at my door. So
really,
yeah.
Fortunately, it's about time to break from music.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that. And this is a band that you guys might know as Those Guys, but they've changed their name for their original music to Erudition. And this song is called Asylum on all WNY ThinkSoJoE show.
This is my next chapter I will share. Feeling the pressure upon my brain. Close my eyes and I take all the pain. Feeling the pressure upon my brain. Close my eyes and take all the pain. And scream. And scream, yeah, and scream. Pressure upon my brain. Close my eyes and take all the pain. Pressure on my brain. Close my eyes and take all the shame. Scream, lay back, close my eyes. Suppose it will start to slow in my life. Take your life. Feel the pressure upon my brain. Close my eyes and take all the pain. Feel the pressure on my brain. Close my eyes and take all the pain. And I scream, and I scream.
Erudition on old WNY ThinkSoJoE show. Yes, I know you saw me, Laura, when I forgot to hit the button to switch over to the song thing. But yeah, that's what Brian wanted. He wanted his vinyl.
I kind of figured as much. I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing.
He's calling me. He's texting me like, "Can you unlock your door?" Like, give me 2 minutes, dude. And then
I called my buddy back because he asked me to help him move some things today, and I was like, all right, no problem. And so I'm like, all right, you just gotta wait until 8:00. So now I'm in the hook to help my buddy move some stuff.
Yeah, I got to get you on camera here. There we go. Okay, I hit the wrong button. I hit the button that I usually hit when we come back from break, so it was just me.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure people would prefer to see that anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they would prefer to see like just the raindrops on the logo thing, but anyway, instead of either one of us, Karina's the eye candy on this show.
No doubt.
Yeah,
I cannot disagree with you there.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute fact. But she's feeling a little bit better. I just talked to her during the song break and told her Brian was coming to get his vinyl, and she's not surprised.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. We're collectors here, so we're just like, you have a vinyl for me? I'm coming to get it now. Oh, you're busy? I'm coming to get it now. So we've been talking about live events and possibly bringing back live events, and there are some live events going on. There's also some streaming events going on, and I've got all those pulled up right here. So let me get through these. Karina went through the trouble of pulling them up, so we got to kind of go through them here. This is coming up on the 17th. That's Friday. It's Jay Unger and Molly Mason Acoustic Stay Away E-Concert, hosted by the Folk Project and 2 others. And that is, they'll have a link for that later on. And they apparently do this every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. So I guess you find that and find the link. And then on the 17th, also Friday, it's at 7:30 p.m., it is Deathlehem's Facebook live album release. Join us for a special live presentation online at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on July 17th, 2020. We'll be celebrating the release of our long-awaited 4th album, Maelstrom of the Emerald Dragon. Prepare for adventure, dumb jokes, and metal. This one you can actually go to. This is the Ed Weiner Band at Thin Man Brewery on Chandler Street, Friday at 8 p.m. And Ed Weiner music live with full band at Thin Man Brewery, Chandler Street. Great food, drinks, and music outdoors and set up for social distancing. Ed is a Buffalo, New York singer/guitarist. He also performs as a solo artist as lead vocalist Milton Wild in Nerds Gone Wild, and as vocalist/guitarist for Jess and Ed. You can catch him often at the brewery for his live music 90s brunch series. That again going on Friday at 8 p.m. at Thin Man Brewery.
Didn't Nerds Gone Wild win like Songwriters of the Year a couple years ago?
Yes, they did, and that's why we kind of that's why me and you and Ryan kind of took everything over and said, nope, this ain't happening no more. No, we got to fix this. Original music only. If you're not played on the station, you're not eligible. Which reminds me, I still got to upload my stuff.
Gone Wild, but yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not lyricists. They're singers.
Also going on Friday at 8 p.m. This at Mohawk Place. $10 ID and face mask required. No ID and or mask equals no admission. Capacity will be limited to about 60 people maximum. And new safety protocols will be in place for everyone's protection. Audience seating required. No standing, no dancing. 6 feet between parties. Show is subject to cancellation if the lockdown is extended. It is the Bobby Lee's Garage Punk from Woodstock, New York. And our friends in This. Bobby Lee's will be on first around 9, and This will close out the evening around 11. The Soul Butchers were originally booked, but are no longer on the bill. That's Friday at 8 p.m. at Mohawk Place. We have Anthropic's CD release show and Brian Pattison's 50th birthday party going on Saturday at Mohawk Place at 7 p.m. Show features Anthropic, The Last Rain, and Nuclear Winter. Doors are at 7, show is at 8, $10 pre-sale, only 18 plus with ID, face masks required for entry. And same deal, 25% capacity, complete seating, no standing, no dancing, 6 feet between parties, masks required for staff, masks required for patrons while moving throughout the venue. And I think that's kind of where we're going to be for a little while, I think, with shows, is having to wear masks or having to sit. And it's not going to be great for punk shows, but we want to play. Anyway, here's one you might be interested in. This is going on at the Miss Buffalo Cruise. It's Grosh and Johnny Hart and the Mess. Sunday, 5:30 to 9 p.m. And Grosh and Johnny Hart and the Mess are hitting the high seas of Lake Erie for a night of rock and roll into the sunset. Boarding begins promptly at 5:30 p.m. and the boat departs at exactly 6 p.m. The cruise runs from 6 to 9 p.m. and features performances by Grosh and Johnny Hart and the Mess. Cash bar is available on board, and they've worked closely with the Buffalo Harbor Cruise Company on guidelines to ensure the highest level of comfort and safety are met for all guests. It will be a different type of cruise in that they won't have space set aside as a dance floor. Floor space will be needed for spaced out bar lines and the tables, which will be placed at a greater distance. So, and tickets and capacity limited to 100 people. And I do believe that Grosh has said that this show is in fact sold out.
I'm not surprised.
No,
that sounds like a great show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On the 20th, on Monday, it is the Strictly Hip at North Park Theater. It is an online concert. The Strictly Hip will perform at Buffalo's iconic and historic North Park Theater, with the performance being released Monday, July 20th at 8 p.m. This very special performance will be broadcast to YouTube Live in interactive 360 degrees with live direct audio. No tickets no tickets available for this concert. No audience will be in attendance. It is an online event only, and the direct YouTube link will be made available through the Strictly Hip social channels on the day of the show.
Is it free?
I believe so. There's no ticket prices listed anywhere, so yeah, as far as I can tell. And then this last one is Tuesday, and it is at Elba Town Park. It is Bobby Skrypek and the Pedestrians. I think I said that right, Skrypek. Music and more in the park featuring Bobby and the Pedestrians. Rock out with Bobby, rock, painting, and pizza. Pizza by Andy's Pizza starting at 6 p.m. Music will begin at 7. Bring your chair and please follow social distancing rules. This and all of their 4 summer concerts are made possible by a decentralization grant from GoArt.
Rock painting. That's an interesting thing.
I think it's rock painting. So there's rock music and painting. I think I could be wrong. It could be rock painting. I could absolutely be wrong. But anyway. So Laura says she just finally finished the newest series of Doctor Who. I don't know if I want to finish the sentence because I don't know if it's a spoiler for you.
No, I've seen it.
Okay, she had no idea why Captain Jack came back.
I don't care why Captain Jack came back. I'm just happy that he did.
Yeah, I have no idea what any of that means. So
yeah,
I'm familiar with.
Speaking of shows,
yeah,
and then we were talking about Nerds Gone Wild winning Lyricist a couple years ago.
Sure.
I don't think we're gonna have an awards show next year.
I don't blame you. It's nobody's really been able to play out.
Exactly, and I feel like there's definitely been less album releases this year because people haven't been able to make music. So I mean it might be a little premature to say this, but I'm inclined to think that we're gonna have to do 2020 and 2021 together next year.
I would venture to say that's probably the best bet. There have been album releases and things like that, but there haven't been, anything really like live performances to kind of, justify some of the categories like best live band and, best, I mean, you can hear it on the albums, I guess, best bass player and all that, but you really get the feel when you see them live. So I think probably that's the best bet.
I feel like there's been a lot less albums released because, they haven't been able to get together to make music and get together to get it mastered. And like, I definitely feel like watching albums get released, I'm used to seeing, maybe half a dozen to a dozen albums a week. And now it's like 1 or 2. And, I just don't think it makes sense to at this point, unless something changes in the next 6 months. I don't think it makes sense to have an awards next year.
No, I absolutely agree. I don't think it would make any sense. And, it really sucks because we actually got our physical CDs 2 days after our last show, and we haven't, I've seen all my band members since then, at least once, right. But we haven't all gotten together in the same room
right.
and done anything. So, Jasmine got spoiled with the comments in the chat there. So she's behind on Doctor Who.
Oh.
Yeah, so it wasn't a spoiler for you. It was a spoiler for Jasmine, and yeah,
sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't follow the show. I don't know anything about it. So
It's a fun show.
I see all the parodies of it on Family Guy and stuff like that.
It's a fun show. It's not always the best. They have good years and bad years, and good episodes and bad episodes, like any show. But overall, I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm not that big into sci-fi, so it's not really my thing. But
right, I know you're more of a movie guy.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I was just talking to my daughter the other day about not wanting to get up to put things in the DVD player. So you watch things on Netflix that you already own.
Yeah, I do the same. So I also do this thing, and I'm pretty sure everybody else does this. Not that I watch live TV often, but if I'm scrolling through the channels and I see just as an example, 12 Monkeys. If 12 Monkeys is on, I will watch 12 Monkeys every time. Despite the fact that, I own it digitally. I could watch it anytime I wanted to. But I very seldom like, ooh, I think I'll watch 12 Monkeys. But if it comes up on screen, it's like, oh, clearly I need to watch 12 Monkeys.
I watched Silence of the Lambs on like Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and literally there are 2 copies within 3 feet of my bed.
Right.
And I'm like, I could just get up and put one of these in, but I'll just watch it on Netflix instead.
Yep.
I've actually taken some of my DVDs and Blu-rays and like transferring them over to Vudu. You scan the barcode and you pay $5 and you got it in high def. Like, okay, I'm down. Let's
Yep.
now I don't have
that.
to put it in the DVD
several
player.
years ago, and actually, there's I had found a service that that they do it for you at like a discounted price. And basically, you tell them what DVDs you have or what Blu-rays you have, and they convert everything for you.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. So of course, I still have. I'm actually looking at my DVD collection right now. Maybe a dozen DVDs and a dozen Blu-rays that weren't available on Vudu.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just converted everything on Vudu and got rid of everything. And then Vudu got bought out by Fandango, which really worried me, but it doesn't seem like anything's changed.
No, it seems like it's the same old service, so hopefully it stays that way. And everything's kind of most of the things are on like Movies Anywhere, so you can move them to like Amazon or wherever else. So. But that's the thing is like I have a few stacks of DVDs, and then I got DVD shelves, and just like I'll sit there and like, ooh, I'm gonna watch this now because I see it on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. Like I watched The Mighty Ducks. They finally put it on Disney Plus, the first one, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta watch this now. I watched it like the night that they put it on there. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have this on DVD somewhere, unless my ex-wife took it with her when she left. I'm pretty sure I still have this on DVD. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to bed. I'm going to watch Mighty Ducks while I go to bed, Been waiting since Disney Plus came out in October? Like, it's finally on here.
I've been using Disney Plus mostly to just watch Marvel movies.
I've been watching The Simpsons.
I'm not surprised. For you, it's probably just Simpsons Plus.
Pretty much, yeah. Laura's in the chat. She just before I said that said Joe is a Simpsons guy.
Yeah. I did watch Hamilton when it came out, at 3 a.m. on the day that it came out. I was one of the first to watch it, and thought it was pretty cool. I was pretty happy with it, and then I watched it again the next day. I do
kind of want to check that out because I've heard good things. But it's a matter of having time.
So it was done very well. I saw it. I took my daughter, my oldest daughter, to Shays to watch it, and it was phenomenal there. But this is obviously it's not the same feeling. It's like the difference between watching a hockey game on TV or live. You get better angles on TV. You see more of it, but there's the atmosphere watching it live. So this was the same. Like it didn't have the same feeling, but it was actually better visually.
Speaking of hockey, it's going to be very interesting to see how these games feel when they get into resuming play on supposedly August 1st. They have the timeline laid out and everything, and hopefully it gets to that point and we're able to watch hockey. But it's going to be very interesting because there's going to be nobody in the stands.
I'd be surprised to see it actually happen. I certainly hope it does. I love hockey, and I would love. It would definitely help to pass the time having hockey to watch. But I'll believe it when I see it. One of the things that I think is kind of interesting is they've got the teams are all kind of quarantining together, and I don't remember what teams are where, but they've got 3 different teams in one hotel. And I can just imagine the hijinks that would lead to.
I could, aren't you glad you ain't working in that hotel?
Yeah, no kidding. On the note of sports, and this is not a sport that I follow as closely, but baseball. Have you seen any of the conversation about the fact that the Blue Jays might play in Buffalo?
I did not see any of that.
So, because of the border being closed, and it's going to remain closed, they're talking about possibly having the Jays play in Buffalo until, things get more back to normal than they are. And they're supposed to have a decision on that within like the next couple days.
That would make sense.
I think it's kind of cool. Again, I don't know whether it'll happen or not. Like I don't expect to see sports this year. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't expect to. But yeah, it would be really cool to see the Jays in Buffalo. That would be worth getting a ticket to if and like,
well, you got to figure most of these things are not going to have spectators.
Right.
So even if they do play in Buffalo, the closest you're going to get is driving by on the thruway. So
yeah,
it would be cool to have, a Major League Baseball team playing here. That was originally built to be Salins Field was originally built to be a Major League Baseball stadium, but then we ended up getting, a minor league team in the Bisons.
right.
Which is always a fun time. You and I went a couple of years ago, and always a fun time to go to a baseball game. I can't sit there and watch them on TV. That's
Yeah. So golf and baseball are two things I can't watch on TV, but I enjoy playing golf. I enjoy putt-putt even more.
right.
And I enjoy playing baseball, but to watch it, it's not it's not all that.
Yeah, I can sit in the stands and watch a baseball game, but I can't. If I put it on TV, it's like, okay, what inning is it? Okay, it's only the third. I'll tune back in 2 hours.
Speaking of golf, I've been watching lately that show Wipeout, or not Wipeout. I'm sorry, Holy Moly,
Okay, yeah.
which is Steph Curry's like putt-putt golf, which is putt-putt and Wipeout like had a baby. So like you've got a putt-putt while like trying to avoid getting hit by things.
Yeah, I've seen the ads for that. I haven't actually seen the show.
It's been pretty fun. So yeah, I'm all caught up on that. It's definitely a show that I would recommend.
I will have to check it out. We just watched a couple of weeks ago The Floor is Lava on Netflix. That's a fantastic show.
Now I've also tried watching Don't, which is like Ryan Reynolds game show type thing where like
Okay.
you get points for like doing things that you're normally not supposed to do. And I watched one episode of it and it was horrible. I'll never watch another one.
I haven't even heard of it, so that was the first time I've heard of it. I actually got a text like after I think we were talking about the show about The Floor is Lava on this show a couple of weeks ago or maybe last week, and I get a text a couple of days later from Kevin, the singer from my band, and he says, "So how do we get on Wipeout?" Or not Wipeout, on The Floor is Lava. And it's like, good question,
Right.
let's find out. So we've been kind of looking, and it's like nobody really seems to know. So, I guess we're going to have to just kind of keep our eyes open and hope to get on. But, but there's 4 of us, so we got to decide who's not doing it.
So that's on Netflix?
Yeah, that's a Netflix original.
All right, I'll check it out.
I think there's 10 episodes. Is like so far the entire series, and
Right.
I've seen maybe 2 or 3 of them. I kind of went in while Karina was watching it, and I'm like, "What's this?" And then kind of sat down, watched a few, and I'm like, "Okay, I have to go to work now." So that is a fine looking coffee mug, sir. Where can our viewers get a coffee mug that looks that fantastic?
So this can be purchased on our Etsy, which is allwnYstuff.com. And thank you. So we've got a few different coffee mugs there, and shirts and stickers and buttons and you name it.
Yeah, I know you've been doing masks and stuff like that too.
Right.
I bought 50 masks and I haven't done anything with them except wear a couple of them.
You missed when I did this earlier.
I did not see that. You are correct. I did miss that. Anyway.
Yeah, so we've got Western New York themed masks, and I haven't done any hats yet, but that's just because I haven't gotten to it. But yeah, like everybody decided to learn how to make bread during quarantine, and I decided to make everything else. I bought a button machine. I bought a heat press. I think I bought like a couple hundred t-shirts. I bought masks. I bought, all sorts of different kinds of vinyl, and I I don't really know who I am anymore. I feel like this is a cry for help, but I'm not really sure. Like, I'm crying to like Betty Crocker or Martha Stewart. I don't know who I want to help. But there was a day when I kind of woke up and I looked around and I was like, who am I and how did I get here? And like, why is there glitter everywhere? And it's just, I don't know.
I kind of, so I've been doing the DIY thing for a while, and finally, like with this last batch of Living Brain Dead t-shirts, we ended up selling so many of them at first that it's just like, you know what, let's just have somebody else do the next batch.
Yep.
So we went through wooden t-shirts and we got more, which are available, livingbraindead.bandcamp.com.
Nice.
I'm not wearing one, so I can't show it off, but I wore one a few weeks ago.
So I've been doing sublimation, and I got this. This is a mouse pad. Dude, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
I bought like a pack of 10 blank mouse pads on Amazon, and they came, and I'm like, that mouse pad takes up like half of a normal person's desk. Like, it's way too big.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like it might not fit on my desk because I got a normal sized one, and I've only got maybe an inch and a half over here before it gets off the keyboard shelf.
Right.
So,
But like, I actually do need a mouse pad on my desk because my desktop is glass, and
Right.
without the mouse pad, the optical doesn't work right. So I actually do use a mouse pad.
and you don't want to scratch up the desktop either. That's
Yeah, I suppose that's true. We'll go with that.
sure. That's the normal reason for wanting a mouse pad on a glass desk. But yeah.
You remember when you had to like get the avocado pit to use for the mouse?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kids these days, they don't know.
I shared a meme. It was you had to hard boil an egg and use
Right,
the
that's
yolk.
what it was.
And Ashton, I think, like yelled at me. He's like, "That's not true. Tell me that's not true. You're lying to me." I'm like, no, really, that's what we had to do. Oh man, I'm sure I have a mouse with a ball in it somewhere around the house. But I've been using these laser mice for I don't know how long now, at least 20 years.
Didn't you steal one from the hotel?
So that is a great story. No, I didn't steal the mouse. That's my boss ended up finding out that it wasn't me. But I'll tell that story when we come back from music because it is about that time. And this one's a little bit of a shorter song. It's from Jonah Krull and Zeb, and it's called 25 or Life on All WNY, Think So Joe Show.
Sweating blood for an honest dollar. Life ain't easy wearing my blue collar. And when times are tough, we tighten our belts. Say a prayer, heaven send help. Was it justified when you drew the knife? Forced you to decide 25 alive 25 alive. Prisoner of fate, oh my, bars and chains, I'll do my time. I made a deal with the devil, then he turned me in. There ain't no one to blame for my own sin. Forced you to decide 25 or life. 5 or life. Consequences. justified when you drew the knife. Oh, forced you to decide 25 or life. Forced you to decide 25 or life. Forced you to decide 25 or life.
And we're back on the Think So Joe show, and I apparently have lost Scott Leffler. I don't know what happened. We were on a chat, and he just kind of vanished. So, I don't know. We'll get him back, but he was talking about before the song break, this time that I don't know what happened. Where did Scott go? He's gone. I don't know what's going on, guys. So, I don't know. Anyway, so he was talking about this time I allegedly stole a mouse from work, and try. I don't know what's going on. Okay, anyway, so I allegedly stole this computer mouse from work, and let me message Scott here and tell him I seem to have lost you. Anyway. But, so I allegedly stole this computer mouse from one of the desks at work. Like, oh, well, you took the mouse. My manager, the owner of the hotel. Oh, you took this mouse. I don't know what you're talking about. You bring a computer to work. Oh, hey, here we go. Okay. There he is. Hey, Mr. Leffler is back.
Yeah, I realized like it disconnected us, and I like tried to call you back right away, but you were busy doing something, so you didn't see that I was calling. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait another minute. And then when I went to try it again, it wouldn't let me. Long story short, yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was starting to tell the story of the computer mouse that I allegedly stole.
Right.
So I there used to be 2 desks in the back office, and one of them, apparently the computer mouse went missing or got disconnected or whatever, and nobody plugged it back in, and nobody knew what to fuck do. So, you took this mouse. You took this mouse. Like, I did nothing of the sort. Like, you bring a computer to work, right? Like, yeah. Oh, well, you took this mouse. Like, no, I bring my own mouse to work. If you want to come in, I'll show it to you. You know, I have one in my bag. I have no reason to take the mouse from the computer. Oh, right. It was you. And so I end up getting a no, they're not. Laura says they're not expensive. So I end up a month or 2 later, I'm in the hotel and I'm talking to the owner, and I say, hey, you know I didn't take that mouse, right? He's, oh yeah, no, I know. I yell at, I'm yelling at you, and I find out it's this other asshole talking about yours and my former manager.
Right.
And it's like, oh, apparently he took it and tried to say that I did it, and then like was trying to throw me under the bus for some other shit too, and got caught.
He was just jealous of your beard, I'm sure.
I guess it must have been. He just didn't like me for whatever reason, so he was trying to sabotage me, which the manager before him didn't like me and wasn't going to hire me either. So
right.
But the owner always had my back, so I give him all the credit in the world for that. He actually offered me a job down in Virginia. I'm like, yeah, nope, busy.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that he invited John down to work down there.
Yeah, I mean, and he, he had John ask me, like, oh, ask Joe if he knows anybody or if he wants to come down and work. And I'm like, well, I don't know anybody in the hotel business anymore, and I'm not, I'm far too busy making money sitting on my ass at home.
Yeah.
in Buffalo, where, we've seemingly gotten the virus sort of under control, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I really haven't seen Virginia's numbers, but I can't imagine that they're better than here. Actually, I saw a map earlier, like a color-coded map that showed like what states are doing good and what ones aren't. And there were 2 states that were doing good, and it was, I think, us and Maine.
Yeah.
And like everything else was either, not doing good or doing really bad.
Mm-hmm. I think, we kind of took the initiative as soon as we were able to on this. And luckily, I know there's a lot of people still in this state that are like, I'm not wearing a mask, but for the most part, I think most people are wearing masks and social distancing and staying at home if they can. And that's been good, my trips to the record store and stuff is just like, I need to get out of the house, and Brian wanted to get out of the house, and neither one of us want to get our partners sick. So we're, being as careful as we can when we do go out. And, like we were at Revolver Records, like I think the day after they opened, and there were, it was, they were limiting the amount of people that were in there. Everybody that was in there was wearing masks. And so it was, everything seemed okay.
One place that I've wanted to go that I haven't is Home Depot, because every time I go, like the parking lot is packed.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm not dealing with that many people. And like actually today, like I said, Mom and I got KFC for lunch. She wanted to go out for lunch. And so I suggested a place that we could eat outside. And she's like, oh, it's too hot to eat outside. And I'm like, I can't eat indoors at a restaurant, Mom. I can't afford it. I can't afford to get sick.
Right.
I said, I don't trust other people. And so we ended up just getting KFC and eating it at her place.
I have actually been to a Home Depot. I just now realized I haven't been recording this on all WNY. I just now realized. I'm like, wait, I forgot to hit some buttons. Oops.
So wait, not recording or not broadcasting?
Not broadcasting. It's
really?
Yeah, I'll get the recording from
makes me
YouTube.
Makes me wonder what's broadcasting.
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably just local music.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like scrambling to get everything set up. So, because I have some packages that need to go back to UPS or go back to Amazon. UPS was supposed to pick them up. They left me the shipping labels yesterday when they delivered something. So, the thing is, you have to hand it to them. They won't just come get it. So I actually had set it on the porch, and I'm like, I can't wait any longer. I got to take a shower. So I took a shower. As soon as I got out, I looked at my phone, and it said, UPS delivered your package 1 minute ago. I'm like,
No.
damn, I missed them by like a minute. So I got dressed, and I went outside. And I had put the packages that need to go back on the porch. They put the package they were delivering on top of the packages that they were supposed to pick up. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll just go to the place around here that takes UPS packages and bring it there tomorrow.
I bought a pair of sneakers on Amazon because I've needed sneakers. And like, if you're going to buy sneakers, pretty much the only place to buy sneakers, like to buy decent sneakers, is at a mall. And malls hadn't been open. So I'm like, well, I'll try buying sneakers on Amazon, I guess. So I found a pair that I really liked, and I bought them, and they were 10.5/9s, but it was 10.5 female/9 male. And I am a 10.5 male, and I didn't like. So anyway, so I get this pair of sneakers. I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. So I had to return them, and then I bought the right ones. So I had to return them via UPS, and I was going to have them pick them up. And I like went online, like, oh, how do I do that? And like, there's this huge form, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just take it to the UPS store. It's easier.
Well, Amazon was just like, oh, yeah, well, they'll come to your house. They'll call you, and they'll tell you when they're coming to pick it up. And they didn't call me yesterday when they came to drop off another package and brought the shipping labels. And they didn't call me today when they came to drop off a package. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just, do it myself.
Right.
But at least I have the shipping labels. I saved paper.
True.
That's something. Yeah, I got two packages today. One directly from Amazon, and one was actually from Musician's Friend, and they sent it to UPS. So I got these two packages, and one box is like huge, and the other box is, pretty big itself. And all I got was one record and two microphone cables. So I got these huge boxes for three small things. And it's like, why? And the thing with the record was, not only did they have it in this big giant box with bubble, the bubble packaging and all that stuff, they also had it in record packaging that you would ship a record in. It's like, what is even, like, why would you take this and put it in a box when you could have just sent this?
Right.
So, I don't know. There's just so much wasted cardboard.
Mm.
My recycle bin has been, like, super full the last few weeks. This Monday, we finally took out the box for the arcade 1-up, which was huge. We just threw a bunch of other recycling in there. And now this week, I've got the boxes that my amp came in and just some other big stuff. So, it's like, man, my landlady's going to be pissed with me, like, having to put stuff outside the recycle bin every week.
Right.
But
I save all my cardboard. Michelle uses it to backing for her, like, her art stuff.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I just break it down and set it all aside. And I had, like, gotten this pile of cardboard. Like, I'm like, all right, I definitely feel like I could build a house out of this right now.
Yeah. I usually, if I get, like, cardboard, like, just cardboard squares, like, if they throw them in to, like, support the records in the record containers, like, I'll take those. And that's what I use when we ship CDs. I'll just cut them up and I'll wrap them in the usual packaging we send T-shirts out in, and
Right.
just, bring it to the post office like, yo, media mail, But that way I don't got to spend the $3 on the media mail package to send the $2.50 media mail.
Right. One thing I have noticed in quarantine is that I kind of hoard things, like not really, really bad, but like things that I would normally throw out or recycle. I'm like, oh, this might be useful. And like, I don't know why it could possibly be useful, but like in my mind at the time, it's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see humans again. And like, maybe I'll need this at some point.
Yeah, I can understand that. I have been trying to get all my packaging out as soon as it gets here. Like, I'll get all the boxes out and everything. But if it's for an expensive item, and I didn't do this with the guitar amp because it's like, this is too big of a fucking box. And I also didn't do it with the arcade 1-up because it was too big of a box. But it's like, I'll hang on to the boxes for things that are like super expensive.
Right.
So like when I get my guitar, I might hang on to that box for a little while. But like, all my guitar pedals I have the boxes for, and all my computer parts I have the boxes for.
So I used to do that. And I realized that like I have all the space being taken up by boxes for things that like, why do I need the boxes? Like in my mind, like, oh, maybe I'll sell this on eBay someday and it will be more valuable if I have the box. And then I realized I'm never going to sell it on eBay because I'm going to use it until it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I eventually, like a year ago or so, got rid of like just all of these boxes that like had just been taking up space. And it's like, oh, cool. I can fit twice as much stuff now because basically everything comes in a box, and I've been keeping the thing and the box, and like now I just keep the thing.
It never occurs to me to like sell anything, but then somebody will be like, hey, you have this thing. Why don't you buy this other thing and let me buy that thing from you?
Right.
Which literally just happened this week. So, and now it's like, hey, do you happen to have the box for this thing? Like, I do. I don't know where, but it's here somewhere, and I will make sure you get it.
So I have been using both Amazon and Google AI devices, voice-enabled devices.
Same here.
And just recently I decided, I really just got to go all in on one universe. Because it was just kind of annoying. Like I would use one sometimes and the other sometimes, and they both do basically the same thing. And so I decided to get rid of all of my Google Homes. And so I had 3 different Google Minis and 2 of the 5-inch screen devices.
Sure.
And a Chromecast. And so like I've got like a bunch of Google Home stuff if anybody is looking to start their own Google Home thing, because I've got all this stuff that I'm never going to use again. And basically I already had all of the Amazon stuff that I already needed, except I did buy a this Echo, the thing that I'm using right now.
Okay.
Because it replaced the Google Home that was on my desk. But other than that, like I had Amazon Echoes like in boxes that had not been opened yet. That I opened, and now I'm all in on one universe, which should in theory simplify my life. I'm all about simplification right now.
We have a Echo Dot in the bathroom, and I have a Kindle Fire that I use in show mode a lot. But otherwise, we have home minis in like almost every room in the house right now. There's one in the living room. There's one in the bedroom. There's one in here, and we just got a Google Nest Mini that's now in the kitchen because that's where Karina uses it a lot. Is in the kitchen to like listen to music and everything, and that's got the better speakers. So we went with that, and I think we got it for free with a Spotify subscribe. We got it for free with something. So it's like, oh, okay, that's good.
Drive?
Yeah.
It probably was that because I just got one as well.
Yeah, that's probably what it was then. I know one of these came from Spotify. So
my biggest problem with the Google Minis is that they didn't have an aux out. If it had an aux out, like I might have gone all in on Google. But I have my Echo Dot plugged into my board, and I can't do that with the Google.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to have the
there used
Bluetooth.
to be the Google Audio, the Chrome Audio.
Yeah.
That you used to be able to do that with, but they don't sell those anymore. So it's like lately, I don't know what the hell Google's doing. So I was kind of hesitant to just go all in on Google because their strategy on everything is just a disaster.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we went with Google just because we already had two. So it's like, oh, hey, look, we could get a free one. Like, I want to put one in the living room so I can control my Xbox with it.
Right.
Do voice commands, even though I can do voice commands already on the Xbox without it.
Right.
It's just easier to, say one thing instead of having to, say another, I guess.
Right.
But, yeah, we got them all over the house. And of course, anytime I'm trying to talk to this one after I've just used my phone wants to answer.
Uh-huh.
Because it's I got the Android phones.
I actually turned my Hey Google off on my phone because it was really annoying because I would want it to go from one device, but it would go from another. I'm like, you know what? I just ended up turning it off.
For those keeping track, Scott has now activated everybody's devices on this show because you did say Alexa earlier.
Hey Google, play all WNY radio on TuneIn. So you can listen to something other than this show.
Yeah,
apparently we're not broadcasting.
I neglected it. I didn't have Karina here to be like, did you fire up butt? No. Oops. Usually I'll start the show and then I'll hit record on my board and also hit the play button on butt so it goes live to air, and I'll take the stream from butt. And that's usually what I put up as a podcast. I just have the board recording as a backup, and I didn't do either of those things. So now what I'm going to have to do is wait for YouTube to fully process the video and get like an MP3, YouTube to MP3 converter, download the audio, then put it into Anchor to upload to the podcast. So it's always a pain in the ass when I forget to do it. So
yeah.
Oh, well.
At least you're still doing a show. Nobody else is doing a show anymore.
Yeah.
And like, if I had woken up on time when I meant to, I was going to post something on Facebook about, hey, I'm going to be a guest on All Western New York's least popular show.
We're the number one show. You're the only show.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I haven't covered up with this shelf is my awards from All WNY for best podcasts. I'm sure this will grow eventually, and I think I got room for about 300 records. I have 135, so we're getting there.
Did you ever find your lights?
So the lights that are up here right now are Karina's old lights from when she did cookies, which she gave me, and I kind of cut them up, and I put one behind the desk here. And then, so what I did for these was, my plan was to do every shelf, and I kept getting bad lights, which are what actually have to go back to Amazon, because, I'd plug them in, and the red won't turn off, so I can't do blue because it's purple. And then the next set was green won't turn off, so I can't do red because it's yellow. So, I had to send both of those back, and then I asked my buddy, who recommended actually the connector kit that I have for my LEDs. And he said, oh, yeah, this is the one I got. And I just, I said, did you cut them? He said, yeah. I said, they work? He said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to order them. I think I paid like $13 for like 16 feet. But nice. Hopefully, with any luck, they'll be here. I think they're supposed to come this weekend. and I could get these last couple of shelves covered, and I'll just leave these ones that are up here already, just leave them on there and get the other couple of shelves lit that need to get lit. Laura says she misses Corey and wants to know, is Sargent still crazy?
Yes, but he's a good dude. And I haven't heard from Corey in a while. I was actually thinking like the other day, like, I don't know, like if he's still like around. Because I haven't seen him on Twitter. I haven't seen him on Facebook. Like, I hope he's good. He was working at a storage unit in the Rochester area, and I'm afraid that like he might have moved into one of the storage units. I'm not sure what happened. Because I legit haven't heard from him in like forever.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I haven't heard from him either. So hopefully he's all right.
And yeah, Sarge is a good dude. Some of his thinking is unique, but it's what makes the world go round.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully everybody who has done shows on here is okay. I actually I was looking at the back of that Stamps T-shirt, and I realized that the guy who took over the station from you for a little while, who is one of my mortal enemies, his name is actually on this shirt that I own now. It's like, I'm like, oh great, hey, look at that.
I still haven't gotten my shirt. Did they mail you yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said I'd go pick mine up.
Okay. Well, I had actually, I told Greg, I said, dude, you know what? Because he said, you know, if we ship them to you, it's going to come out of what they, you know, what Stamps is getting out of it. And I said, no, listen, man, if you're going to ship it to me, and I would prefer you ship it because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to Stamps to get it. So why don't you ship it to me? Tell me how much the shipping costs, and I will reimburse you for it. And he never told me how much the shipping costs. He just sent it here. So it's like, okay,
right.
How much do I owe you? You know, like I'm trying to give you money here.
Right. Yeah, I told him to just keep my shirt at Stamps and I'd pick it up. So
yeah. Well, you're like right around the corner too, so that's not even far for you. For me, we got to get to Tonawanda, and you know we're all in Buffalo, or I think maybe Kevin probably lives the closest out of the band. So, which he's actually gotten his. I still got to get John his couple of shirts, my drummer. But yeah, but yeah, I told him I'd pay him back, and he never told me how much. So
yeah, so I haven't looked to see like what bands and what names are on the back, except for the ones with the logos on the bottom, which is pretty much just us.
Yeah, I noticed like that all the ones on the bottom. I'm like, oh, Scott paid for all of these. And yeah, my Living Brain Dead's on there, and also Noah Goki is on there. So I'm like, oh man, I have a shirt with this guy's name on it. Like, why?
It's funny. Almost all of my clothing has the All Western New York logo on it. Almost everything that I wear. I even have a pair of shoes with the All Western New York logo on it.
Jeez. Most of the clothes I wear now are local band shirts, and I just have a basket full of shirts that I just pull out of at random. Like, what's in here? Right. And I don't think I've emptied it like since like the week of WrestleMania, so there's still a ton of wrestling shirts in there still too. So I just pull out so it's either wrestling shirts or local band shirts, and probably nothing in between. So but yeah, that's you know, that's where I'm at right now with clothes, is just. And Karina's like, oh, you know, we've got these storage bins. Maybe you can put them in some of these bins, but they're meant to go under beds, but they won't fit under our bed apparently. So it's like, okay, but what's the point? Because now it's just gonna be out here instead of in there. You know?
I had to get a riser for my bed for that very reason.
Yeah. So I think she wants to get a new bed anyway. So maybe eventually we'll do that and try and get one tall enough to put the storage bin under. But then I got to pull out the storage bin and open it up and grab a shirt. So it'll be more of the same, just, you know, the cat won't be laying on it.
Which is good, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's time for us to go. Scott, I appreciate you jumping. Yeah, I appreciate you jumping in at the last minute and helping out here today.
Happy to help, bud.
And we're going to get out of here with a song by Axion, who is Josh Mason. And this song is called One Night in the Old House. And we'll see you next week right here on All WNY Radio for the Think So Joe Show.
Later.